Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Let's Talk Morning Show live. This is the live show that me and Dennis do every single week on Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. And you'll notice that it's just me here today. That's because, unfortunately, Dennis is under the weather. We kind of knew he was sick yesterday. We were supposed to record our show, our first episode. Was it great or were you ate? We were going to do that yesterday, and have it out next week. But unfortunately, he is sick, so we canceled that. And of course, this morning he texted me hoping that he would be better. He said he is not better, so that means that I will be doing this show all alone. And I got nothing prepped because I figured, the questions we kind of prepared to do together. So I'll just be doing everything here myself. And I thought, there was a video that I wanted to do. I was just going to film a video, but I had nowhere on the schedule to put it. But, something happened pretty recently that got me thinking, maybe this is a topic that we could discuss here on the live show. So for everyone who's just getting in here, it's just me today. We kind of had to change things around. So, welcome. I'm glad you guys could at least make it. We're going to discuss what I'm thinking about is pretty recently last week. You guys might have noticed that they announced that Batman and Batman Returns is going to be returning to Dolby Cinemas for one night only on August 25th. And that got me really excited because I am one of the world's biggest Batman 89 fans. And I also love Batman Returns. I mean, Batman Returns is more of a Christmas film. It's not one that I think of coming out in the summer, even though it did come out in the summer. It just, takes place over winter. I even feel like, Batman 89 is more of a fall film, but it is one of the biggest blockbusters ever released. Batman Mania took over the summer of 1989. And, despite all the other great films that came out in the summer of 89, like The Last Crusade, it was like the summer of sequels. Batman 89 ruled them all. So to get that re-released, I saw this in theaters for its 30th anniversary, unbelievably, in 2019. Unfortunately, how this is being promoted to be released in Dolby Cinemas, which is one of the premier theaters. I would say that and IMAX are the two things that are on top of the world now. Now, the pinnacle being IMAX 70 millimeter theaters. So Batman 89, seeing it on a regular standard theater with a standard projector at AMC in 2019, it really was disappointing to me. I had a bad experience with it because it was just put like in one of their smaller theaters, kind of in the corner. They had Dolby Cinemas and IMAX at the time, but they chose not to put Batman in there, despite it coming out to at the same time as the Warner Brothers release of the 4K Blu-rays. So they could have done it. They chose not to, and it was just really disappointing. So for them to be doing this, I got my tickets right away. And I believe that that's going to really end up being what the future of cinemas are. William Driver's here. He said, I can't stay long. Just wanted to pop in and say, hey, William, but thanks for stopping in, buddy. I really do appreciate it. I know the schedule kind of changed. Next week, we'll be doing everything that we promoted for today. So top 10 opening scenes will be next week, guys. Batman 89 does have a classic opening scene, and so does Batman Returns. But yeah, so them re-releasing this in theaters, and I saw when I got in there, I got the notification, like David, aka Shamrock Balls, he actually sent me a message on Facebook, and I was like, oh, okay, what is this? And then I see released in Dolby Cinemas in one night only. I'm like, I don't care, I'm going. And it's coming out that night at 7:00 Eastern time. So it also will be followed by Batman Returns at 10:05 Eastern. So it's going to be a long night. I haven't stayed up that late in a very long time, but I want to do it. I want to see both of these. Like, I have the 4K Blu-rays, so it's the same exact scan as the 4K Blu-rays, but I want to see them in the theater, get that true theater experience in the premiere format. And it seemed like, based on the amount of seats that sold on, near me on Long Island, New York, which is, not really like a movie sanctuary, despite being so close to New York City, you would think that more people would, you think it wouldn't be as packed as it's looking. That means that people are excited to see these movies, go out to theaters to see them. And I assumed I was going alone because my wife, despite how much she loves me and loves movies, she was like, right away, no, I'm not going to see that with you. She came with me in 2019, and she's probably thinking that we're going to have that experience again. Trying to explain to her about it being dope. She's like, no. So I was like, I'm going to go alone. But then my cousin Matt, who started this channel with me back in the day, he texted me and it's like, I'll go. Like, I didn't even think he would. I wasn't even going to invite him. So, and then he was like, hey, yeah, no, I'll go. No, so me and him are going to go do that. And we're excited about that experience to finally get to see this in Dolby Cinemas. That's really the something that you're getting excited to go see. These on the two best superhero films, in my opinion. William, Batman 89 is 100% the best superhero film of all time, and Batman Returns for me is not far behind. They are unique, they're special, and as more time goes on, you realize how much better they were, or how much better they are than the films that are coming out today. I don't particularly like the sound of theaters, especially Dolby Cinemas, but I love THX, IMAX, and HPS 4000 equipped theaters. Yeah, so people also might not realize that there are differences. Like I've taken my cousin Matt there, and he just assumes that Dolby Cinemas is the best. And I try and explain to him that, there's different sound systems, there's different screen sizes. Here's a good example of that right here. We'll have to remove this first, but like this is the different formats that this was for Oppenheimer. But you had different formats, and people started to get excited. I really think Oppenheimer's when people started to take notice of the different formats and going to theaters for that, because we've seen like a real low in return from the box office lately. So William Driver also says Michael Keaton was great. Jack was also great. Yeah, that's what makes it awesome to me. I mean, those are two of my top 10 favorite actors of all time. I'm also a huge Prince fan. Tim Burton, I love his visions, and his visions like are perfect. Like the world building was perfect for Batman 89. All the stars aligned for me. I mean, like literally, when I tell you, like my wife actually thought that Batman 89 was my favorite film because I watch it so much. And I'm like, no, I still put Terminator and Pulp Fiction above Batman 89. But I think about it, it's just like I could put that movie on anytime and be just in heaven watching it again. It's just my comfort movie. It's just something that's really special. I always love 70 millimeter, but 70 millimeter IMAX is rare. And that's what I'm talking about. This is what the whole video discussion is about. It's about that right there. IMAX 70 millimeter. That's because what I've noticed recently, and because tying into with Batman 89 and Batman Returns getting re-released in theaters, and also that very same week, I believe August 29th, 30th, and 31st, you'll be able to see Jaws for celebrating its 50th anniversary in 4K. Well, not like it is the more recent 4K scan, the most recent scan, but it'll be re-released in IMAX theaters for that weekend only. And people were excited. I got tickets to that as well. Unfortunately, I do have to cancel that because it's the weekend of my brother's wedding. And it's just, I'm going to see Batman that very same week. But people are going out to see this movie one time to go see it in IMAX. Like that's a new theatrical experience for them, and it's selling very well. Same thing for August. They're re-releasing TMNT, celebrating its big anniversary as well. And I'm assuming this is the new 4K scan that's been rumored. They're re-releasing that in theaters as well, not in a premium format, but people are excited to go see the films of the past, I think, more than they are excited to see films of the present. Look at the current box office and how quick films fall off. Big talking point this week was the Fantastic Four. Like let's just think back to 2019 before the pandemic, the release of Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Those two movies were both billion-dollar films. Avengers Endgame became the highest grossing film of all time. And I think as far as box office returns, that's when we hit the peak. And ever since then, we've just been in the falling action. And the pandemic just accelerated things that were already in motion, in the sense that we were transitioning to movies being released on streaming services first. And, studios were itching to do this because at the time, the returns were great. Now, they accelerated something, not realizing that they were setting this other thing that was making them a lot of money on fire, and that was movie theaters and releasing films in theaters. If you start to encourage your viewers, or you start to make viewers believe that this is how it's going to be going forward, like they killed Pixar with this, with Disney Plus, by releasing those movies day and date on Disney Plus. Like you killed Pixar. Pixar was a system that people love to go to theaters to watch. Everyone got excited, including myself. I would go by myself to go see Pixar movies in theaters. But then Disney Plus comes along and you start releasing all of your films there. Now people just know, like, okay, even if it's in theaters for, let's just say 90 days, which was the norm back in the day, now it's like 45, or it could even be less if the movie does bad in theaters. It's going to be here. We could just wait. And, we're not really big cinephiles like us, where we're talking about movies every single week, like with new releases. No, they're not like us. They won't get spoiled because they don't really care if they get spoiled or not. So it's not a big deal. They just care about it when it gets released in their eyes. So it's fine. You've conditioned them to know that this movie will be coming to streaming services eventually, at the very least, if not day and date. So now when you go back to celebrating movies being released in theaters, they're like, no, let me just be here. And then the returns are terrible. Like, look at what happened. What was it? I don't remember even what the movie was that came out from Pixar earlier this year, but it did terrible. The worst release ever. Good morning, John. No Dennis today? No, David. Unfortunately, it was a last minute decision change. Unfortunately, because Dennis is sick, he might have the flu, so he couldn't be here with me today. So I'm riding solo. So I'm really like winging it today. But I did have a topic I was going to make a video about about how the movie theater business is changing. So if you want to chime in here, or throw in your thoughts as well, everyone want to throw in their thoughts, I appreciate that. But because people have just been conditioned that movies are going to be released, on streaming services pretty soon, and think about it. Even if like you wait and it's like 21 days later, 45 days later, and you got to pay that 19.99 before it drops to that standard 5.99, or it gets put on a streaming service like Peacock, for instance, you've got Black Bag and Drop on there already, which are my Black Bag is one of the better films of the year, but Drop, it's all right. It's nothing special. It's a thriller. You watch, that's a matinee afternoon kind of movie. It's starts off great, but really declines pretty fast from there. That's a movie like people used to go see in theaters. Comedies, talking about The Naked Gun. That's a movie. That's a movie that people used to go see in theaters. Comedies would come out every other week in theaters. Not anymore. Like, this is a rarity. The fact that we're celebrating The Naked Gun. It did okay. Made, I think, about $28 million so far. Not bad for a studio comedy in this day and age. But then you got Fantastic Four having like one of the biggest drops in history, and it's just because, again, you oversaturated the market. And you would think that these people who run these companies like Disney Plus would be aware of that, run Disney, like, but it's just like guys just sitting in an office looking at spreadsheets, and that's it. And like one or two people giving them ideas that they don't really know the meaning of anyway. So they just like, okay, that sounds fine. Let's try that. And you just don't realize that you're hurting your business in the long run by doing these things, by letting your company essentially cater to streaming services first, which you're getting a flat fee every single month, and you're throwing around like it's essentially like the internet boom of the 1990s, where there's so much money's coming in, they don't know what to do, that they're just greenlighting so much in the future, assuming that they're going to keep growing, but eventually you're going to flatline, so your income stays steady, but you're still spending. And then now we're realizing like, oh shit, like this guaranteed income from theaters, we could have just continued to do that. And they should have. And unfortunately, though, once you give somebody something, you really can't take it away. It's like artificial intelligence. It's like, it's here. Like, we all should have accepted the warning signs before this, the Terminator, but we didn't. So, of course, now it's here. We can't take it away now. It's already in motion. It's the same thing with movie theaters, in my opinion. No Dennis, no Shamrock balls. Listen, I get that, man. If you gotta go because Dennis isn't here, I get that the Dennis heads, they're here for him, and unfortunately, his big head isn't here. So you just got this, uncolored head, unfortunately, today. Which is RC Theaters, Reading, Pennsylvania, Maryland have. Oh, okay, that's the sounds that they have there. So in our standard theaters, we don't really have anything like that here. We have the premium ones, and then I think it's just regular. Only kidding. I hope Dennis is feeling better soon. Yeah, I hope so by next week. But luckily, me and Dennis, we were like us, David. We were a little bit ahead. So like when something like this happens, at least I had my video for this week, and then next week when we film our "Is It Eight" or where was it great or where you ate, we'll be still right in line, right in our sweet spot. So we're always a little bit ahead just in case things like this happen, so it's good to plan ahead a little bit. I just didn't have really a topic for today. I'm just glad there was something that I wanted to talk about. All I have is an AMC. Quality is not great. See, that's the thing I've heard about. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of Ken over at Mid-Level Media, but I know that he pretty much made a stand against going to theaters overall because his AMC is pretty damn shitty. Like, they have just the standard theaters where I don't even know if they've upgraded to laser, which is unfortunate. Like, I am fortunate. Like, I complain all the time because like in the city, that's where they have the 70 millimeter IMAX theaters. Now, do you guys remember when the Odyssey got announced last month? And how they were going to announce it's 1 year out, but they're going to release like the 7 p.m. show times, I believe, only the 7 p.m. show times for the IMAX 70 millimeter theaters, almost like a concert. And these sold out instantly. Like, I live not close to a 70 millimeter IMAX theater. I live on Long Island, which is a pretty good distance away, but it's only a train ride away from me, where I can get there in about an hour and a half to the Lincoln Center. Or the Lincoln Square IMAX AMC theater. So it's not something I've been there. It's not something that's out of the realm of possibility. So I thought, you know what? It's a year out. This is going to be an event for my wife and I. The last time, I'm a huge Nolan fan. When the Odyssey came out, I saw that in the Odyssey. When Oppenheimer came out, I saw that twice in theaters. But we also got really excited, at least for her to get excited as well, to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer. Barbenheimer, that was the big deal, and we did that. We did the Barbie one, we did Oppenheimer day one, Barbie day two, and it was a great time. People were excited. We got to see that in IMAX. But now with the Odyssey, we're like, let's go do IMAX 70 millimeter. There's still only 17 of them out there, and that's the biggest flaw, is that even if you want to go see it, it's hard because in the United States, I don't even know, like with David, if there's even a 70 millimeter IMAX theater by you in Ireland, or what the closest one would be. But like here in the United States, there's 50 states. There's only 17 countrywide. That means that most people are missing out on what is considered right now the best theatrical experience. But what they're doing is creating demand, and by creating that demand, like my AMC by me is 17 theaters, and that includes the IMAX and Dolby. I mean, the other 15 are standard. If movies aren't doing well, but you know what is doing well are these re-releases and these event films like The Odyssey by directors like Nolan. I think Denis Villeneuve is like becoming one of those directors as well. Ryan Coogler has definitely been added to that list, where these certain types of names will sell out these premium theaters. I think the theaters are only going to be these premium formats in the future, not right away. I still think that these major studios just don't know how to adjust like very well. Like they just make these split second decisions. I think they want to take a step back and try re-releasing stuff in theaters, or at least doing regular standard releases, and see what their returns are. Their budgets definitely have to come down on superhero films, that's for sure. You should not be spending this much money when the returns are this horrible. I want to just read some comments real quick. In this one, many theaters market their large format experience, but it's the sound system that matters as well as the projection. Exactly. They don't really, and that's also becoming an issue with 4K Blu-ray releases. Like at the beginning, DTS:X and Dolby Atmos tracks were kind of standard, and now it kind of feels like to save a little bit of money, they're just reusing previously released track, and it's rare we get that new Dolby Atmos track. It's like a lot of people get fixated on the visuals, and that's kind of like my reviews are a little bit different from everyone. I look at the total package, including the extras. Visuals are a great upgrade, but look at the price you're paying for just a visual upgrade. Audio is just as important. I agree, and like I feel like a lot of standard theaters compared to like IMAX and Dolby Cinema theaters, they get the shaft, and it's really unfortunate. William Driver says the movies are fuzzy. I could go to Riley, but I don't want to drive an hour to watch a movie every time. And I agree with that, William. I mean, you shouldn't have to. That's the thing. Like I was just saying, like I bitch and moan, like, but I could go. I do have an AMC that's about 15 minutes that I go to that does have a Dolby theater and an IMAX theater. Now everything else on Long Island, it hasn't been upgraded in a very long time. The theater that's closest to me, a theater called PJ Cinema, is like great local theater. The problem is it looks exactly the same from my childhood and from my parents' childhood. Now they have upgraded certain things, but not really. Like if I go there, it's just because it's for a timing thing. Like the prices are still really good. That's the good thing, and the popcorn's still great. And you want to support your local theater, but it's like, if people like us who collect movies, we have really nice really nice TVs and sound systems at home. So really the only way to upgrade that experience is going to these premium IMAX theaters and going to these premium Dolby theaters. And that's it. Like my cousin Matt, who's coming with me for Batman, if it was being released in a standard theater, including me, we were both just wouldn't go. But to go for the Dolby Cinema experience, we're like, yeah, let's do that. That's how we want to see it. Otherwise, we're not going to go because there's nothing to really celebrate. It's not like we live in California. California, in LA, like they have this kind of experience all the time. Every night, like in certain theaters, we'll have re-releases of classic films, like just Vertigo playing. Oh, let's go over here and we'll see 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like when 2001: A Space Odyssey got released in IMAX, I made sure to go, but it was me and like 5 other people, which just shows you like the draw of Long Island for cinema fans. It's a shame, but I love Long Island. It's where I live, so I got to deal with that. If I wanted to, I can move to the city, but again, that's all a pricing thing. But if we can somehow expand it to the point where this AMC near me, for example, doesn't need 17 theaters, maybe you knock down on the other side half of it and you throw in an IMAX 70 millimeter theater and maybe a second Dolby theater, and then just have like 3 or 4 standard theaters. I think you'll get more of a return. You're able to sell more premium formats. And then, I think that'll draw more people in. Do a better job promoting re-releases of theaters of films, like classic films like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Every time a new 4K Blu-ray is coming out, promote that the new 4K scan is going to be showing in a Dolby theater or in an IMAX theater. And that way you can make some money. And it's also good for the sense that you get more people coming out to see classic films, because unfortunately I don't believe that the current film slate is very good. I mean, there's some that come out like this year. Sinners and Eddington are very special films, but for the most part, not a special release theater. Naked Gun kind of feels special just because we don't get these kind of films anymore, but it was a great theater experience. It just felt good to laugh with people again. We just don't get these kind of experiences anymore. And I think you got to create that community experience, make it feel special. So re-releasing classic films like Sunset Boulevard this past weekend as well, you make it feel special for generations of people who haven't seen these movies, make it feel like a community experience, promote it that way. And it's the best way to go forward, I think. Let me just make sure I get back to the comments right here. Lincoln Square is good for IMAX because it's true IMAX. Exactly. And that's why I wanted to go, but again, sold out in 3 minutes, which is good and bad. I wish IMAX had better, more overhead sound like Dolby Atmos. Imagine they combined the Dolby theater with the IMAX theater and gave you the Dolby sound with the IMAX experience. Can it be done, or is that some kind of rights thing? I would like to see more DTSX theaters. Yeah, well, that's another thing. DTSX in general just kind of has fallen off. Speaking on sound, do you also have an issue with Criterion? I have to turn their releases up and down. I have a big problem with Criterion with their audio. That's where they take the lazy route. So if you want to like look at it, this is why I think Arrow Video is number one right now. They get a little off topic when it comes to as far as like our boutique labels. I feel like a lot of boutique labels have unfortunately gone the route of like Paramount, or not really WB. WB's been giving us Dolby Atmos upgrades every time recently. I can't really knock them, but they kind of are like Arrow, but for major studios. But for the most part, now they don't upgrade the audio, and that's the same thing with Criterion. They almost put very little effort into the audio, and it really bothers me because they put great effort into the extras and the visuals, but kind of ignore the audio. And then you have like Kino Lorber, who just basically only upgrades the visuals. Shout's been following in that recently. I'm a little concerned about Shout, to be honest with you. Their release, especially for October, really were underwhelming. Like Place Beyond the Pines, I'm excited about that, but that shouldn't be the thing I'm most excited for when their biggest month is October. So I'm a little bit worried about that. But what's it called? What are we up to here? Yeah, so Criterion on their sound, that's my biggest flaw right now, is how they don't upgrade that, while also, sometimes they don't upgrade the packaging either. I feel like a lot of studios are trying to take the lazy route to save some money, and that's becoming just a general, like, speaking of film, is people just don't care as much about film. Like I said, before we can upgrade anything else, like before we can get people in the theaters and before we can get people buying physical media, we got to make more cinephiles, and we just don't have cinephiles anymore. Let's see. I remember Batman Returns and The Fugitive at Lewis Valley 7, New York City, and THX and Dolby Digital and Final Approach. Final Approach, the Cinema Digital Sound, the United Artists, Gemini Twin. Yeah, like, see, you can remember those theater experiences, and that's what we have to create again. I do, like, I'm 33 years old, so I would say I'm kind of in the middle of like cinema fans. I think I'm like the last generation of like true cinema fans before like video games became more prominent, before the smartphone generation, where people want their entertainment in smaller bites. Like TikTok is like the king of the world right now. Reels, or even communicating through memes, all of that is like the standard right now. And people are just not cinema fans. It's a shame. I wish people were cinema fans like we are. I'm pretty excited for End of Days. Yeah, like they had a couple good things come out. I just expected a little bit more. I'll admit, like, one of my golden rules is I don't like to rebuy 4K Blu-rays that I already have, but unless I'm getting something that's like really special, like an upgrade to the visuals or audio. But Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is one of my favorite horror films ever. It is my favorite Halloween film. And that 4K steelbook that they're doing, with the design around it, like being around the TV, I'll admit it caught my eye. It's an Amazon exclusive, and I might grab it. And I don't really like to buy things just based on artwork, but that thing is a beauty. It just feels like Shout Factory has, like, unfortunately, like, been kind of like, especially like Ace Ventura and Time Cop this year. Those are Shout Select releases, just completely lazy and like disrespectful releases. And it's like, why do that? Why even release it then? And it's just for cash. Like, the name pulls enough people in that they'll grab it, but it's disappointing. Like, give people a total package. And Arrow Video, that's what they do. They upgrade everything. They give you everything you could ever want. They check every single boxes, where, unfortunately, a lot of studios like Kino Lorber will check like 1 or 2 boxes. Like, okay, we'll give them the visual upgrade, but that's it. And, it's like, for a lot of us, I don't want to grab it, but they're also the only people upgrading like certain films to 4K Blu-ray. Like Mouse Hunt has a 4K Blu-ray, and it's only because Kino Lorber like concentrates a little bit more on comedy. You know, they got some stuff from like New Line, I believe, if I remember correctly. Somebody told me, so that's why they're able to release a lot of those films. But like they're just only doing minor upgrades on certain areas. Like, you know, yeah, Kindergarten Cop had no extras last year, but it looks beautiful. So it's like hard to like give it a bad grade. It's just you wish that we would have gotten a little bit more at this point. And it just seems like Criterion, unfortunately, is falling to that as well when it comes to audio. You know, what other boutique labels like Vinegar Syndrome, their biggest flaw is that they just can't get good films. Like, you know, they get just, you know, it felt like a couple of years ago they were on the rise when they had Roadhouse come out and Freeway. I was like, man, Vinegar Syndrome is like on top of the world right now. If they could just keep getting quality film rights, you know, they'll be great, but they just keep missing out, unfortunately. What happened to Real Butter on Popcorn 1980s. Well, that's another thing. AMC a couple weeks ago, like I can call them out on this. I went there during one of it was Jurassic World Rebirth, I believe. And you know, I guess they're not used to being this crowded. They're probably a little understaffed, but you know, they're just handing out the popcorn, and the popcorn is like not hot. It's like stale. And popcorn right now is like $10 for the large bucket. Absolutely insane. And I clearly got the bottom of the freaking bag as well, or whatever the hell it is, like you know, literally the bottom, because I had little hard kernels on the top. And I, you know, I didn't want to go return it, so I didn't. But it was just like, what the fuck? You know, this stuff is like an arm and a leg. Like it's almost $20 now for a soda, just for the cup of soda, and for a large popcorn. Like put some effort in, at least on the popcorn. I get you're understaffed, but my God, like you know, this stuff isn't cheap. And then that again, you know, you're sucking the life out of the last people coming to your theaters, and you're going to turn them away too. And then obviously movie theater etiquette has just gone completely out the window. People are on their phones the entire time, just talking to each other, having full blown conversations. If you want to do that, you know, go somewhere else. I don't know if that's that difficult to understand. You don't have to go to the movies for that, but it's just hurting the entire cinema experience. You're just turning more people off. You know, you got to make things more cost effective, or if not, make it exciting to go to these premium formats. Get the 70mm theaters like in more locations. They should be at all of like your big theaters. Like your AMC where you guys are shouldn't be shitty. Like they should upgrade that stuff. Like for you, William, like it shouldn't, you shouldn't have to drive all the way to a different county for a premium theater experience. That should be close to you so that you can go to that. And you know, you got to like try and draw people in. You got to promote it, like promote the release or the re-release of these classic films. I think people will come in if they remember films from their childhood, and then maybe while they're there, I've always said this would be a great idea, like in movie theaters, have a small physical media store. Why not? Who are the people most likely to buy physical media? Movie fans. So if you start creating new movie fans with these re-releases, hey, you know, this movie's been out for 30 years. Come in here, buy the new 4K Blu-ray, maybe have some 4K Blu-ray players in there that you could sell as well. I'm not saying create like a Best Buy in there or anything like that. You know, create like a gift shop size, like physical media store, create some nostalgia with it, make it look like a blockbuster, make it smell like a blockbuster. You know, have this all be combined. Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 are great releases, though. No, you don't. I'm not saying that Scream Factories. I just feel like their quality has dipped a little bit, like in certain areas. Like it just feels like there's like they're like Paramount almost now, where they have like two studios working from the same studio, because like Paramount, I think the release of Small Soldiers was fantastic, but then their release of Clueless was useless and shouldn't have even been released as a 4K Blu-ray. So it's like, it's just weird how that happens, where I feel like Warner Brothers and Arrow Video, like they don't miss currently. Like right now, they're just going full bore, full commitment. But even Warner Brothers, like their artwork is pretty damn terrible. So like that's the one unfortunate thing, except for those 4K steelbooks for A Nightmare on Elm Street. But a lot of people can't grab them, which is really unfortunate. I love the issue of classic films remixed in Atmos, but I love the original audio as well. And that's exactly what Warner Brothers is doing. Warner Brothers gives you the new remixes with Dolby Atmos, like for all their recent re-releases, like even for The Searchers, Dirty Harry, all of those films, they gave us brand new Dolby Atmos tracks while also giving us the original audio. So for people who want to watch both, now for me, I usually go for the upgrade, but the Terminator, I got to experience the new Dolby Atmos track and then the original audio, and you can hear the changes, and it's perfect. Like I watched it both times. Like, so for people like me and people like you who like that, you know, it comes down to certain films, but give people the options. Why not? If you want to promote the re-release with the new audio in theaters, and then again, like have the so like let's just say Dirty Harry, for example, you re-release it in theaters in Dolby Cinemas because you just upgraded it to brand new Dolby 4K with no new Dolby Atmos track. You promote it, you put it in theaters. All the Dirty Harry fans are walking out. As they're walking out, there's a gift shop to your right that kind of looks like an old Blockbuster from back in the day. They sell physical media. You go in there and it's like, hey, here's the new Dolby. Here's the new release of Dirty Harry on 4K Blu-ray. It also has the original audio on it. So if you want to bring this home, check it out with the old audio that you remember, but with those visuals, you can. And also that audio track. You can take it home with you right now. Why not? Make it a true experience for the cinephile. Like those are the people that are only going to the theaters right now. Sorry, John, my phone shit itself. I'm not aware of any 70 millimeter cinemas here. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if you had any kind of out there. Like I'm not too familiar. Like obviously, like you live close to a major city in Ireland. I didn't know if maybe they had one out there somewhere. I don't know about like the entire all of Europe. I don't know like what countries would have Dolby theaters. I'm sure London's got Dolby theaters and IMAX theaters, major cities like that. I'm just always, I only really know the United States because that's where I live. So I don't want to be naive. DTSX needs to expand streaming to other platforms like Netflix. DTSX like had a real presence at the beginning of 4K Blu-ray releases back in like 2016, 2017, 2018. But then for some reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe the rights were too high. I remember somebody telling me that it just became too expensive for the studios to pay for the rights to DTSX, and it was cheaper for them to pay for the rights for Dolby Atmos, which, that does add up. That makes sense. But it's like, unfortunately, then they just decided, we'll just reuse the previous DTS HD Master Audio 5.1s anyways. Why not? And we won't even upgrade them. And then, like, Paramount will just reuse a old Dolby True HD. And then every now and then we get upgrades to Dolby Atmos. But at the beginning of the 4K Blu-ray format, it almost felt like the audio was the selling point before the visuals. And now the visuals have blown by the audio. When you get the total package, that's like the true 4K Blu-ray experience. That's what I think are the best 4K Blu-ray releases of the year, are the ones that check all the boxes. You can check one box and be really happy about it, but that's not a full release. That's not worth the entire price that you're paying. Like, these are premium things. These cost a lot of money. It's the same thing with going to the movies. Like, it costs a lot of money. And like, if the people you're selling it to are like your last line of defense, essentially, of like going out of business for creating physical media or for movies, like just in general, like your people like who are still supporting you, you want to expand and sell to a greater audience. But if they don't really care, you should be like focusing more on your cinephile fans and trying to make more cinephiles. I think that's just the way to go forward, in my opinion. Yeah, we have an IMAX and a 4D. Okay, at least you guys have an IMAX and 4D. Probably IMAX did digital. Hi, John. Hey, Stevie Dan. My cinema is 10-minute walk from my house. It will be showing Jaws in the IMAX format at the end of the month. See, that's awesome. And that's perfect. Like, you're one of the fortunate people. You get to live close to it. You get to go see Jaws in IMAX. And people are excited like yourself. Like, I remember, like, my cousin Matt, like, I was supposed to go with him. And he's going with his wife, Danielle. And he's taking his dad because Jaws is his favorite film. And that's awesome. Generations of people going to see Jaws. Maybe people are taking their kids to go see Jaws who are huge Jaws fans. Keep passing down the lineage of these films. Like every year, big films celebrate anniversaries. Like just now, Sunset Boulevard celebrated its, I think it was 75th anniversary. Its new 4K Blu-ray comes out this Tuesday. And, the new 4K scan just got shown in theaters this past weekend. That's what you're supposed to do. Promote the new 4K scan. Promote this film. This is one of Billy Wilder's best films. This is one of the best films of all time. Has a line that, even if you never saw the film, the classic line, "I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille." Like, you just know what that is before you even see the film. And now you can go see it in theaters. Wouldn't it have been cool if there was like just a nice end cap while you were walking out of the 4K Blu-ray? Imagine how much more 4K Blu-rays you'd sell. I just think that they don't promote it, or they've given up on it. I'm not entirely. I pay $18 a month for membership. Yeah, okay, 18 euros a month. That's not bad, right? Is that the euro symbol? I'm not entirely sure what that one was, but I think it was euros. I pay $24 a month here in New York because I think we have a little bit extra cost, us in California. And I can go to see 4 movies at AMC theaters, and no matter what the format is, in IMAX or Dolby, which kind of pays for itself because a Dolby ticket itself and an IMAX ticket are $24. So I tell people, if you're just going to go to the movies once a month and you're going to go to a Dolby cinema once a month, it's worth it for us because you're getting the extra reward points at that, and you can reserve and cancel anytime. AMC's A-list is very similar, I think, to Microsoft Game Pass, but for cinephiles. If you're a cinephile it's the greatest thing out there just because of the amount of movies you can see. But they're not taking advantage of it. Like for people like William Driver who have bad theaters near them, it might be an AMC theater, but they don't have the Dolby theater in there. They don't have the IMAX theater. They don't really get to truly experience the best of what cinema has to offer. Like I feel a little bit shafted that I can't go see a 70 millimeter film unless I go all the way to the city. You know, should I be complaining about that when there's people like William who don't even get to experience IMAX? Probably not. That's we got to kind of be thankful for what you have. I just, you know, as a cinephile, I want to have the best of the best near me, but you know, we can't have it all, can we? I should just be grateful for what I have. Pound sterling. Okay, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. UK money. All right. Just wanted to make sure. I'm not entirely always sure. I always just say euros because I assume European. I'm an idiot. If I ruled the world, Jaws would be in the cinemas 24/7. I know it would. That's the thing you would push on everybody. You'd be like, I'm not really a fascist, but I'm gonna be a fascist about one thing and one thing only. Jaws has to be playing in one theater at all times in every city around the world. And they're gonna be like, well, you're only really the president. No. Around the world. Only $5. Oh, wow, that's it. For IMAX member usually costs 16. Yeah, that's the thing. You get to save a lot of money with these memberships, which are great. That's what they should be doing. Cost me $20 Australian, $26 Australian to go to the movie over here. That's for one. Okay, that's just for one film. That's expensive as hell. And I've heard about Australians. They get charged a lot of extra money for, I think, physical releases as well, which is ridiculous. Laugh a lot. You're fine, John. Thanks, man. I apologize for that. But, you know, one thing that somebody told me over the weekend, Lionel Jacobs, was I think he might have got this from Planet CCH's channel in the sense that physical media sells better over in Europe compared to over here in the United States. And that's why in Europe, they get the more standard editions, the slipcover editions, where we only get the steelbook editions here in the United States for like Master and Commander, Tombstone, Kingdom of Heaven. But you guys over there, you guys got the slipcover editions. You guys always get the much nicer collector's editions like Lethal Weapon and Amadeus, where we would have to import them. And you got, you know, it's expensive for us as it is too. So it's like, I'll just get the steelbook, even if I don't really love it. It's just to save a little bit of money. You know, so we go that route. So apparently physical media still sells pretty well in Europe. Over here in the United States, it's faltering. So that's disappointing to hear. Obviously, physical media is a huge part of this channel. It's just the way she goes sometimes. Jaws the Revenge on Christmas. Well, it is a Christmas film. Of course you should Jaws the Revenge on Christmas. Imagine people lining up, David, like around Christmas Eve, Christmas night. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna have dinner. We're gonna head over to the theater, catch Jaws the Revenge real quick, put cookies out for Santa, and then we're going to bed. A nice tradition. You know, maybe sell Bahama Mamas in the lobby. Everyone's wearing Hawaiian shirts, even though it's Christmas. It's a beautiful thing. I think it can work. I mean, true cinephiles will love it. I love it. Import from if Kino Lorber did better cases. Yeah, that's another thing with Kino Lorber. Now, I personally do like Kino Lorber and their uniform case design. I'm kind of a sucker for that. Like it's a personal like art thing. I like art like kind of in guardrails. I like things that kind of become uniform, but you like change things up like a little bit here and there. You know, obviously Arrow Video goes all out. Vinegar Syndrome goes all out. And that's why they're best. But I do admit that I do like Kino Lorber's just kind of basic approach where everything's kind of in black. And then you just put the movie poster on the front. It's very lazy, I admit, especially with the disc design. But I'll admit that I do like it. My biggest flaw with Kino Lorber is their extras. They just give you none. And as somebody who truly loves bonus features, and I think it's one of the biggest selling point of physical media, it's extremely disappointing. I'll be honest. I pay the cheapest seats. I think Joe's on 3D at Logan Cinemas. I'll buy the $5 seats. Oh well, hey, listen, everyone's different. You just probably like the cinema experience. You're getting it with Jaws 4, John. I truly have learned to appreciate Jaws 4, and that's all thanks to you, David. I'm trying to get Dennis to appreciate it. I think what we're gonna have to do is later this year, maybe around Christmas time, me, you, and him are gonna have to do a video on Jaws 4, and like you're gonna have to explain to him, like you explained to me, all the lovely things about Jaws 4, despite the fact that it's about a shark who is really on the hunt for revenge that finds his way because he's so good at finding his way all the way from the Northeast to Bahamas. So, yeah, not much logic there, but there is some fun to be had. But back to talking about what's going on in those movie theaters, because I do also think that prices are a big problem, and that's one thing you guys have pointed out. And I think that if you do if you're somebody who cares about film, it should be promoted better. That a lot of these theaters, I know Regal has one as well. I think it's like called the Regal Cinema Club. Like I said, this Regal by me is not the greatest. They haven't updated that in like at least 20 years. They put new seats in. That was a big deal. That was the first theater like in Suffolk County, Long Island, that put the new recliner seats in. Now every theater has them, at least out here, except for like the smaller theaters, like the true, still small mom and pop theaters, like I was talking about earlier, the PJ Cinemas of the world. Like those ones still like they just put in like comfortable seat. They didn't put reclining seats in, but that was a big deal for them because they still had the ones where you sat on it, where you pretty much just hit wood. So that was a big deal. And AMC recently by me, they updated to where now every theater has the reclining seats. It's just a lot of us were hoping they would upgrade and put more premium formats in. Oh, 100. That sounds good. A Jaws the Revenge Christmas special feature. Dennis, LOL. Yeah, we got to convince him because he's still a pretty bad Jaws the Revenge hater, which is fair. Like we can all admit that Jaws the Revenge might not be the greatest of the Jaws films. Now, for me, it's like I just enjoy it because it's a good, fun 80s horror film that you can get some mileage out of it. I think, especially if you buy in on the cheese of it all. I think you can appreciate it. I think some people can be a little bit too serious about things. I think this is kind of what happened more recently with Happy Gilmore 2, which is like a reflection of our society. You just kind of, I think you expect too much out of Happy Gilmore 2. You should go into it knowing who Adam Sandler is and know if you appreciate his work or not. For Adam Sandler fans, it feels like, you know what, we kind of got what we were expecting. We appreciated it for what it was. Was the plot dumb? Yeah, the plot of the movie was bad, but it was still a lot of fun. It's like The Naked Gun. If you like the old Naked Gun movies, you are going to love the new Naked Gun movie. You're going to appreciate it for what it is because it's not trying to be anything more than a Naked Gun movie, spoofing, satiring those cop films, the entire cop film genre. You take a serious actor like Liam Neeson, who's replacing Leslie Nielsen, very similar types of actors where they were serious actors and then kind of turned on a dime and became comedic actors at a moment's notice. Even though this might be a one-off for Liam, we'll have to wait and see, but still it looks like he's got it. Just do your regular deadpan delivery and we'll have a comedy film around you. It works because it's not trying to appeal to everybody. It's trying to appeal to people who like this, and you just hope you can create new fans. It's not showing up on the screen. Here we go. My sister says Christopher Nolan was in the local cinema in Eldon, Scotland. He was having a break from shooting Odyssey up there. Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's the thing about Christopher Nolan. Him, Tarantino is like they're big time cinema fans, regardless of being great directors. There are some people might not realize this, but there are some directors who might not necessarily be big cinema fans. But Nolan, Tom Cruise, like these people just genuinely love to go to the movies. And that's what sells the premium format. Like Christopher Nolan likes to shoot on the best format, which is IMAX 70 millimeter. I think he's also a 65 millimeter, and then this do like the slight expansion. But like that's like what sells like to him is he wants to see these. That he's the one of the people that Ryan Coogler talked about getting his stuff put on IMAX 70 millimeter. Denis Villeneuve, I think he just does IMAX and then they transfer it to film after if they want to re-release it in 70 millimeter. It wasn't shot that way, so it's a digital to film transfer, so it's a little bit different. But not many films have been filmed this way, but that's like the future of it all. I remember it was a big deal back in 2007, 2008 when they were talking about the filming of The Dark Knight and how that was the first film to use the IMAX cameras, which were only really used for like stuff in nature because you couldn't move these things around at all. They were huge and loud. Now we've gotten better, they've gotten smaller, they've gotten quieter. They're still really loud, but now they're actually able to shoot more films on it. The Odyssey, I believe, is the first film that's ever been shot completely with IMAX cameras, so you won't see like the expanding aspect ratios throughout the film that you do now. And like Sinners, they actually made good use of that, just like back in the day, Mission Impossible, Fallout did the same thing. That where they get creative, where it's not such a big jump, where you have the black bars on the top and bottom, and then all of a sudden this huge quality jump for like a scene and a half, and then you jump down to a smaller quality jump. You're like, it's like it doesn't become as noticeable, and it actually kind of adds to the art a little bit. It's a very basic cinema. Fair play to him. Yeah, that's pretty cool. He's just I've always loved Christopher Nolan. I know David, aka Shamrock Ball's not the biggest fan of him, but we're also, that's I think where our age gap comes in a little bit. No, man, I can't look at the new Naked Gun. I hate everything I see about it. Neeson isn't funny to me, but Spinal Tap 2 looks brilliant. David, I was just like you. I was skeptical. I if you are somebody who likes the Naked Gun 2.5, the Naked Gun 33 and a third, why they didn't call this the Naked Gun 44 and a fourth is beyond me. It was right there sitting there, and it is truly the Naked Gun 44 and a fourth because it is the fourth Naked Gun film. It is a sequel. I was not somebody who wanted to see. I was like, it's like low hanging fruit. I'm like, did they just get Liam Neeson because his name sounds like Leslie Nielsen, and like it's like they're very similar types of straight faced actors. Now we're gonna put them in comedies. I'm like, is it low hanging fruit? Because that's what it felt like to me, like the easy grab. No, it really isn't. Like everyone's fully committed to the gags. They're the same kind of gags from back in the day. There's even some really smart ones. I'm not going to say every joke works, but it's an hour and 25 minutes, a mile a minute kind of release. It works. I couldn't believe it myself. It really does. It's not a cinema masterpiece, and I'm not going to say every joke works. No, but I was surprised as hell. I said when it comes out on physical media, I give it a try. I don't think he'll be that disappointed. I think he was watching the new Superman movie. Yeah, and the new Superman movie was pretty good. And I'm sure like that's Warner Brothers actually. I know he works with Universal now, and him and Warner Brothers had a fallout. But he just supports cinema, which is something that we need more people to do. That's the thing about Tom Cruise. He's always at the movies eating popcorn like a wacko, but he's still at the movies out there, and he promotes movies that have nothing to do with him. Even back when Barbenheimer came out that weekend. It was going to basically kill the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 at the time. It was going to derail that right off the tracks. And it didn't matter because it's about getting people back to theaters. The theaters, I just feel like, get cold feet about this, not doing enough promotion. Maybe money's too small. Studios all own their own streaming services, so they're almost like afraid to hurt their streaming services. But now they're seeing all the losses, and now they're kind of crawling back to theaters in a lot of way. Re-releases are getting people, just to circle back to the beginning, are getting people back into theaters, which is exactly what you can hope for. So things are. I think there is a positive way to look at this because I do see more people getting excited to see these movies. One thing that's fortunate for me is what my regular Joe job is. I work with people of all ages. Like, I kind of fall in the middle there because there's people as young as 18 there, but then there's people as old as like 85 there. I'm not even kidding. So like you can kind of get a feeling of the pulse of how people think. And I'm always surprised at how much the younger people don't know classic film. Like when people like tell me like, yeah, no, what's ET? I my heart, like I almost feel like I'm gonna keel over. But then I have people next to me who are like, I went and saw ET in theaters in 1982, and I'm like, I wish because I wasn't born until 1992. So I'm always jealous of those people. But I'm a cinephile. But how do you promote cinephile? How do you get new cinephiles nowadays? That's always like the hardest thing for me, like to try and pitch to people because people get it's the ADD generation. They like things in really short form, and it's almost like they'll only go do it if they're part of a communal experience that's being shared on TikTok. So you almost have to create an experience for each film, but they also only really know IP. Luckily, like Sinners came out, and that's like the true minority in comparison to films like like this. We're even seeing major films fail, but other like Black Bag didn't do well at theaters because it's just like people don't really know Steven Soderbergh. Even cinephiles do, but not everybody does. I can't, John. I see the scene where he talks about his dead wife. I I just found it cringe. Not my sense of humor, I guess, but not a patch on what they did in the original going on that. So I didn't know if you that's the one thing I was trying to explain. The Faith was like, did she like the Naked Gun movies? Like you have to really kind of like those David Zucker kind of films. If you don't, like, that's the thing with comedies appeals to everybody in a different way. Everyone has a different sense of humor. It's just like horror. I feel like those are the two genres that always appeal to different types of groups of people. Everyone has a different thing that scares them. Everybody has a different thing that makes them laugh. We all pretty much cry at the same things. Somebody dying usually will make the most of us cry. Someone dying of cancer, a dog dying, we'll all cry pretty much. So it's natural to manipulate us that way. Whereas we all laugh at different things, and that's I laugh at a lot of dumb things. Like sometimes dry might not get me, but really stupid stuff, low hanging fruit. Like I was watching, like I don't remember what it was, but like somebody like got really hurt, and I'm like laughing like a moron. I'm like, I'm a child at heart when it comes to stuff like that. It's still fun to watch somebody fall and get hurt. Is it mean? Definitely, absolutely. Also, Tom Holland was filming new Spider-Man in Glasgow, my city. Oh, that's awesome. That's my movie news. Thank you for the movie news. I saw that, and he's got both of his movies coming out in July of next year. He's in the Odyssey, and then he's got the new Spider-Man movie coming out as well. And I noticed one thing, like with him, I don't know how old he's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie, but Tom Holland, he's still got the baby face, but starting to look a little bit older, a little too old to be playing Spider-Man, I think. But hey, it's Tom, what's his name, was playing Spider-Man already in his 20s. So what can I say? Localization of speaker kills immersive audio. So surround speaker placement and tuning is critical. Yes, that's another big thing as well. We should be clear about everything as far as the audio in these theaters needs to be fine-tuned, and which they don't do a lot. I've gone into plenty of theaters in my local area, as well as like the AMCs, where the projectors are not set up well, and I've like the white balance is way off, or like the green balance. I'll try and like explain to them, but then I'm just like, they're looking at me. I live in Long Island. We got to be clear about that. Like, these people are not really probably trained for this. They're looking at me like, who the fuck gives a shit? Go watch the movie, man. Like, take your Jurassic Park ass back to the theater. Like, who cares? Like, nobody around here cares. And I get that. Like, I don't live in LA or New York City where, like, there's fellow cinephiles in there. It's just people trying to escape the heat some of the time. And I'm the weird one. And I understand that. See, since the future of movie theaters stream is, if the trailer isn't doing it for me, I'm not going to give them my money. See, I won't even watch the trailers. Like, I still go to the movies every single week, so I'm usually planning on seeing movies regardless. So I don't really try to see the theaters. That's when my phone is out. It's like I'm trying to pay attention, not look at the screen, because I don't want to have a trailer ruin the movie for me, because a lot of trailers give a lot of stuff away. Luckily, The Naked Gun, those scenes that are in the trailers are in the movies, but there's so many gags in the film that, the trailer doesn't spoil it. It works. Like, the movie actually, it keeps going all the way through the credits. Like, you might think of a joke, like my mind can pinpoint it. I'm like, it's weird it didn't pay off. It might pay off in the credits. Stay through the credits. I think you'll really enjoy The Naked Gun. It was a true experience for me that I just had an absolute blast. I'm not somebody who likes the trailers nowadays, so I'm gonna see, like, Weapons comes out next week. I haven't seen a trailer for Weapons. Unfortunately, my wife did kind of explain a little bit of the beginning of the trailer, and then I've seen like part of that, so that kind of sticks out. But I know I'm seeing it, so I'm going to see that on Thursday. And next week we're going to see Freaky or Friday together, unfortunately for me, but maybe good for you guys. Okay, that's not bad. In what's that, Poland? Okay, so at least they have a nice sound system. Joe Bo Briggs always said, never kill the dog. People don't like that. People don't like that. It's brutal. Like, we all, for the most part, as a community in the world, can all agree, like, dogs are innocent creatures. If you hurt a dog, you're a piece of shit. Where, in movies, like, yeah, I get you're trying to manipulate us and have this experience, like, manipulated to us through the film. Like Marley and Me, not really a great film. The hardest I've ever cried at a movie. Like, how could you do that? Like, you showed me the entire dog's life, which in real life, a dog's life is very short. And if there's plenty of people out there like me. I don't have kids, but I have 2 dogs, and they're basically my kids. I love my dogs more than anything. When one of them dies, it's like a kid dying, and like, I don't need to see that on the screen. I want the dog to live. Luckily, like, movies like K9 were nice, and the dog got shot, but he's all right. Or like movies, we kept thinking Boomer was going to die in Independence Day. He just kept surviving. Boomer was a good one. Let's see this. Seen an interview with David Zucker. He hated the trailer, said he never made a Dreading a Clown features like a swirly, silly underwear. The actors playing it straight play like they were in serious movies, which is exactly what Liam Neeson does. I really think the homage is there. I think it was a genuine, like, they were really trying with The Naked Gun here. They tried to pay homage. They paid a lot of respect to the original one. They literally kept the same sense of humor. Liam Neeson doesn't play this like a comedy. He plays it just like Leslie Nielsen did. He plays it serious. Pamela Anderson plays it serious. Like, they're serious around him with all the great visual gags of them. Yes, we're taking it to the modern world, which turns me off, and a lot of things like that. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, the cinematography, it's glossy and pretty. It doesn't look cheap, but if you're not somebody like myself who vibes with modern day cinematography, it's going to look pretty ugly. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it doesn't look like it's just supposed to be beautiful outside all the time. I'm not that kind of people. Get more upset at dogs dying than children. I know I do. Unfortunately, like, children dying, like, those are the 2 bugaboos. Like, don't kill the kid, don't kill the dog. But the dog, I've always said this. I mean, it's going to sound cruel, but it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Kids grow up eventually, and they might not come around as much anymore. The dog, He's never leaving. He's never leaving unless you decide to get rid of the dog, and you really shouldn't. Like, stay with your dog till the very end. I was gutted when Mad Max dog was killed. No, and I Am Legend. Like, you just don't do things like that. It's so horrible because dogs just love you unconditionally. Like, you talk about unconditional love. A dog's love is absolutely 110% unconditional. They love you. They don't judge race. They don't judge color. They don't judge sexuality. They judge nothing. They just judge, like, do you love them? Okay, I'll love you. I'll do anything for you. And they really do. Like, how many times if you own a dog, have you gone outside like to get the mail, take the garbage out, you come inside and their tail starts wagging again? It's like, I was gone for 3 minutes, but they're just so happy that you're back. We have two dogs, but our dogs only feel the most comfortable. You can tell when we're both around them. It's just, that's how dogs are. And if you love dogs, you know that. I mean, I'm not here to talk. This isn't a dog show, but I love dogs. So when you kill them, I'm gonna get a little bit hurt. Also, we got the giveaways today. We have two giveaways. We have our digital code giveaway that we do every week with two digital codes and everything like that, which you can win these digital codes. I'll show you guys right now. If you're in our digital code giveaway, which isn't many people, you have your choice of these digital codes if you end up winning. I've noticed not many people are into the digital code giveaway anymore, but it's not for me. It's for you guys. So if you guys choose to enter, awesome. So we're going to add this to the stage. We'll remove this, add this, and we will spin the magic wheel 2 times to see who our 2 lucky winners are. Spinning right there, and yep. And while that's spinning, I'll just keep talking. We can't use codes here. Really? That's crazy. I know that there's other regions. Like, I get some UK codes sent to me that we can't use in the US, but you can't use any codes there. That's crazy to me. Oh, Angelino 316. I assume for Austin 316 or John 316. Congratulations. We're going to remove you, and we are going to spin again. And if you're watching the video on the replay and you don't know how to reach out to me if you are the winner of a digital code, it's letstalkentmt@gmail.com. Let's talk entmt@gmail.com. Or you could reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, the artist formerly known as Twitter, X, and now I am on Threads. I said, why not? So that's where I am as well. Nostalgia 1x1 212. Congratulations, buddy. You won our second digital code. What else did you say, buddy? Yeah, we don't get them with movies. That's crazy. So they charge all that money and they don't give you the digital code. We don't get the Blu-rays here anymore. That's another reason why the UK market gets them, because like physical media sells better. That's why they always get the Blu-rays also, and we don't. So we are going to, because we got our other giveaway as well, and we are going to, let's see. Snap screen. Now we're going to do our physical media giveaway for all of our channel members. So if you are a channel member on the producers or higher, we do this every single month as well, and it's the beginning of the month, so this is what we do. Well, we do usually. Okay, so at least you guys get the Blu-rays. Yeah, the Blu-rays have not been selling well here in the US, and I know like Lionel Jacobs, who follows the channel, it's frustrating for him because he would like a downscaled version of the 4K Blu-ray on 1080p Blu-ray, which I get the new scans. I know you miss out on the HDR and the Adobe Vision, but you get pretty much the same exact scans. It'd be nice for those people to have the option here in the United States, but again, everything comes down to money, and they're just going to look at the region. They're going to look at it all on spreadsheets, region by region. That's all we are to them, guys. We are just consumers, so they're going to look at what sells. So this is our channel members. So if you are a channel member on the producers or higher, like these people are, every single month we do a physical media giveaway, and I'll spin the wheel first, then I'll show you what you have your choice of the winner. Oh man, this might get my demonetized. Not supposed to have this playing. All right, well, too late now. I do miss the song. It was a good one, but they got me last time. So it looks like it's gonna be Uncle V again. All right, Uncle V, this is your second win. All right, so we're gonna close this out now too. And we'll go back over here, and I'm back. And Uncle V, you have your choice of the following movies: The Ring on Blu-ray. This is a steelbook. Rope on 4K Blu-ray. Good 4K Blu-ray, by the way, and one of my all-time favorite Alfred Hitchcock films, if you guys have never seen Rope. The Northman on 4K Blu-ray. The Lego Batman movie on 4K. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure on 4K. Weird, the Weird Al Yankovic Story on 4K. Color Out of Space. And 2012 on 4K Blu-ray. Great 4K. I just don't love the film. So you got your choice, Uncle V. And if you guys want to become channel members, you guys can look for all that information in the description. You'll get all the videos early. You get entered into these giveaways automatically. If you bump it up to like the bankroll, you get your own choice video every other month. You also have your own choice review if you are a director or hire every single month, whatever you guys want me to watch. Working on those right now. So doing all that if you guys are channel members, but no pressure, guys. As always, just, like to do a little bit extra for them because they help keep the lights on here. And, I keep doing these reviews and everything for you guys. I will actually have a full Naked Gun review later today. But just to circle back to everything that we were talking about today, like as far as the future of movie theaters, I just think that inevitably that's where we are going to end up with movie theaters, is with premium formats being first and foremost, creating it like a concert experience. I just don't like what happened with the Odyssey. I hope they get a little bit better than what they were doing at concerts. If it's an anticipated film, try and make it so everybody can go see this film. Like, it's movies. It's not supposed to be a concert. Concerts are like hundreds of dollars. Like, as far as being a WWE fan, the amount of money that it costs right now to go to a WWE show is insane, and it shouldn't cost that much. But it's the world we live in, so it does cost that much. And movie theaters are already very expensive for people to go. Luckily, they give us these deals if you are a cinephile to have like the AMC A-list or other movie passes at your theater where you can go see more movies and get discounts on concessions to really reward the movie fan. But, it should be a little bit more cheaper so that everybody can go to the theaters and we can build new movie fans. We need more movie fans. And, of course, you need to have better quality films out there to build new movie fans. But, hey, we have how many years of classic film to go back to that people, if you put it in theaters, they will come. It's just like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, he will come. If you build an IMAX 70 millimeter theater in your local areas, I guarantee you, they will come. I think it's a great investment that hopefully the theaters are realizing. Obviously, they don't have to pay me for these ideas, but I'd love to help out because the movie theater is my favorite place on this planet. If they made money, I would love to invest in one day because it's just something like a physical media store. It's my true passion. I've always loved movies. I love movie theaters. I love physical media just because it all ties into my love of film. I know you guys do too. We just got to pass on that love to new generations. That's the hardest thing in the world, though. We got to just try and convince people that film is good. It's very hard to convince somebody to go sit down for 3 hours in a movie theater with expensive food all around. We've tried a lot of different things, but I think you got to create cinephiles first and foremost. I don't think liquor and food, like, premium food, is going to get people in theaters first. I think you got to actually be in love with movies first. So we got to make people love movies. So concentrate on making good films, not have these ridiculous ballooning budgets on superhero films. People want a little bit more than that nowadays, at least in my opinion. Morning, Mark. Thanks for coming in. I know it's probably late now. The show's coming to an end pretty soon. Dennis wasn't here, but I think we had a pretty good show today. We got a lot of talking points in about physical media and movies, and I think it was a good show. I enjoyed myself today. I hope you guys did too. It was a little impromptu. Dennis will be back next week. Hopefully it's nothing too serious that he's sick with. He's pretty sick. So, I think he'll be fine by next week. He's just got to relax for a little bit more, but I didn't want to cancel the show. I still wanted to do a live show today, and I was going to make a whole video about this, but the opportunity presented itself to have an open discussion about movie theaters and movies. Nothing more that we love to talk about here over on Let's Talk. So we had a good conversation about it. Later this week, as far as videos coming out in the future, if you guys just want a little bit of promotion about what you'll be seeing going forward. Tomorrow, I believe, is the original versus remake, which me and Dennis shot last week for Point Break. On Thursday, you'll have my review for Master and Commander 4K Steelbook. Then on Friday, everything I saw in July ranked worst to first. One of my favorite videos to do. Probably nothing. Oh, you'll have my weapons review probably on Saturday. Sunday, Let's Talk Physical Media. And then coming into next Monday, you'll probably get either To Catch a Thief, Casper, or Straight Outta Compton's 4K Blu-ray reviews and all that going forward. So that's what you guys got to look forward to in the future. Everything we were supposed to do today, top 10 opening scenes in film. We had a list for Kevin Kruger of comedies that we were going to rank worst to first as well. We'll get to all of that stuff next week. So we're just punting all of everything we were going to do this week to next week. There was also a question of the week poll. You get a digital code as well. Let me look up the winner of that real quick before we get out of here. Yeah, let's see. Question of the week. Looks like question 3 won by Scotty Guns. Scotty Guns, you want a digital code as well. What are the best sports movies? That one by 52%, it says. So congratulations. So no question of the week poll, obviously, this week because we didn't answer any questions. It was just a conversation video. So hopefully, and if you guys like that, you guys, have any recommendations of things you want to see here on the channel, always looking to, do things for the fans first and foremost. You guys are what helps this channel. So I always want to do videos and everything that you guys like. Sometimes I just like to do videos for me. This kind of worked out. Got to talk about a hot topic, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did like it, guys, it does help throwing that like button. Believe it or not, it helps a lot. Kevin, what's up, John? What's up, Kevin? Yeah, I've just explained to everybody. I'm actually getting out of here right now. Everything that happened this week, we have your question. We're going to answer that next week because Dennis was sick. So we just kind of had a fun discussion here. So if you want to watch the replay, check it out. I think it was a good video. Throw it a like, please. And of course, man, we'll answer your question next week as well. Same thing with the top 10 opening scenes in film and any other questions we got. If you want to actually ask some more questions for next week's show, I think we only had 3 in place. You guys can leave those in the comment section as well. Anything to help out, really appreciate it. Share the video. Tell your friends about us. And guys, just enjoy your day. Appreciate you guys all being here. I really do. I appreciate all the support. It does mean a lot to me. I say it all the time. The internet might be toxic, but luckily for us, we have there's a lot of good people that follow this channel, and I appreciate all of you. So enjoy your day, guys. Enjoy your week, and I'll be seeing you around.